I am on. All right, hello everyone. This is Wild Blade from Creative Media Vault in Tokyo, Japan, and I'm going to be continuing with the game that we were building, that we started building last week. So, as I mentioned, this is kind of like a beginner's game development tutorial. Partially it's a tutorial, partially so that it's kind of to let me kind of figure out how to teach like game development because I do develop a games, but to be honest, like I love artwork, I love creating the story, and and I love all of those elements, but I don't really like programming. I can program and I can do complex programming to a certain point, but I'm not exactly the fastest programmer in the world, and that's where I've decided to make that your problem. So if I have to suffer, you have to suffer too. So you're going to watch me like scroll through and like try to figure all of this stuff out while building like simple games, right? But before I do that, just to give you like some like hope that I actually know what I'm doing to a certain point, uh, we'll go to my itch.io page and I'll show you like one of the games that I built like last year. It's called Fu with Gambit, and I'll play through that a little bit. And Fu with Gambit is actually a spin-off to this game, Quest of the Gummy Witch. So we'll click on this and I'll just show you like this cute little strategy game to ease your mind before we get back into grinding into building the current game that we're working on. All right, so I hope everybody's doing fine today. It's actually a pretty sunny day here in Tokyo, but it's cold, so I was training outside and my fingers are freezing. All right, so this is Fu with Gambit. This is Fua. She's the main character, she or he. I'm like leaving it open to interpretation here. But she's actually Giselle's Golem from Quest of the Gummy Witch. And this is just a little, point and click strategy game where you move characters and stuff like that. And it's actually two players, so if I hit the space bar, I can switch over here and, kind of not move him there, you know, make them fight. Like what's his name in that Godzilla movie, like Ken Watanabe. He's always like screaming for Godzilla and King Kong to fight. So I can switch between players by just kind of toggling on and off. So I'll be like switching over this team, and I have like basic soldiers. I have like these little squishy guys. This guy over here. And each of them has a different attack range. This is my archer, so my archer can come here. And, depending on where he's at, he might be able to attack some of the enemies over here. So I'll switch over to these guys, and you'll see this little, like, comma-looking thing. So I'll cut this guy, and I'll cut this guy. And this is one of the, like, well, of course, one of the larger, stronger enemies in the game that does a lot of damage. Move this guy up. This is the Lancer. I'll move him here. And like this is like the bad guy. I haven't even given him a name. He's just the bad guy because I'm lazy. And this archer can now attack this guy from a distance. On this team we have a dragoon. And he also has a crazy distance. So yeah, you kind of get the gist of it. So it didn't take me too long to program this game. And I used some tutorials from Blackthorn Prod. Actually as the basis for this. So if you're not familiar with that channel, I highly recommend that you check it out. But yeah, this is kind of just how this game works. I'm gonna like attack this guy and attack this guy, and I finally killed somebody. So yeah, this is Fu with Gambit. So it's like a really kind of like fun, interesting game for you to play, maybe with friends. My kids love this game. When they actually remember that it exists. All right. So that's kind of where we're at right now. That's kind of what I've been, one of the projects that I've been kind of working on. So, it's pretty easy for you to like, just kind of airmail somebody their death certificate in this, if you're like playing as one of the ranged characters. Right, and I'll play this a little bit more. Move this guy over here, move this guy over here. Poor bastard can only move one space. Move this guy over here and attack, and so you kind of get the gist of this, though. It's just a basic, simple strategy game that was created completely in Unity. I move my archer here so I can attack my dragoon. And back over to this team, see if I can make a couple more kills. I am going to airmail this guy his death certificate. Alright. And Fua, she got a few little extra surprises. She or he has a few extra surprises. So this is just kind of what the game looks like. Alright, so I think I'm going to stop this now. And, that was our nice little peaceful adventure. But remember, you can stop by itch.io and play this game for free, as well as some of the others from my itch.io page, which you can check out right here. Yeah, this is the current game that I'm working on. This is CDULO, The Outer Rim, which will be my first major commercial game that I'm planning to launch on Steam. So this is the main project that I am working on. However, I do need to take a break sometimes. So that's when I take a break from the main project in order to kind of refresh, play through it, get some different perspectives, maybe figure out some other stuff I want to add to it. And so if you're interested in learning more about this Kickstarter game, you can check it out on my website, creativemv.com. And you can also play some of the other free games that I have online, or some of them that I'm still kind of working on. Okay, so now let's jump back into what we were doing before, and that was kind of playing around with this game. All right, so the last time we left off, I was kind of busy yesterday, so I was kind of in between, doing meeting and then also coming home, cooking dinner and stuff like that. So I think what we did last was we set up the transition system. So I'm going to turn this off right now so we can actually kind of see what's going on. But we did set up the transition canvas, and I had some problems with that actually, because I actually had the transition panel. The animation did the transition panel. I had them backwards. So I had a start, which automatically runs to idle. And then I had an idle, which has a end parameter that goes to end. But I forgot to, I had my end animation actually reversed. So let me turn that on for you. So I had it actually reversed, and that's why it wasn't playing correctly. So here we go. Transition panel. Start is the fade. Yeah, because I actually created these backwards so this one should fade out to black, but instead I had it fading out to clear. I'm like, why the hell isn't this working? So that was why. And then another problem that I had the other day, yesterday before I signed off, is I decided that I was going to add a cursor follow, which is this pink triangle right here. But for the life of me, I guess I was kind of rushing. I couldn't figure out how to get the cursor follow script to actually display the click event. So I'll go over here and I'll show you what I had set up. So I've got this cursor, which is actually on a UI canvas. And when I go to cursor follow, which should be over here, when I go to cursor follow script, right? You notice I tried to add a game object, click effect, and an animator to this, but I forgot this is on the UI. So, so I was like, why the hell isn't this working? And then I found out I actually put these on the wrong script. So now what we have is we do have a cursor that can kind of tell the player where he is on the screen, or where he's actually clicking on the screen, since the main movement mechanic of this game is point and click. And so I'll go ahead and play that for you. So if you'll notice now, when the player clicks, we do have this little pink blip that kind of indicates where the player can move to. All right, and that's what I was having trouble with setting up yesterday before I tried to get things ready for the kids' dinner. All right, so we're going to continue with this game. And we basically have most of the game mechanics that I kind of want to put into this, because I don't want to spend too much time on this one, because I do need to get back to my main project, and this is supposed to be a 24 to 72 hour build. So I haven't even gotten really started on the story or the graphics for this, so I think we're going to try to wrap this up today. So for those of you who might be watching this on Twitch, I'm not really going to be doing too much typing or anything in the comments. Hold on. I am checking my mails as well. Yeah, because, got a business, got to do that. All right. So, so let's see. What else are we going to add to this? So we have an enemy that can chase the character around and, kind of shoot at him. So he can send him to heaven and make him see the pearly gates more than one way, by crashing into him, or by, actually shooting a projectile on him. And no, this is not a cross. This is an invitation to meet God. So this little spinning thing in the middle of the room will definitely kill you and co-sign your obituary. So stay away from that. As will these spikes. They look nice and friendly and kind of happy and stuff like that. But if you run into them, well, that's just kind of like you're just kind of putting a stake in your own heart. All right. And other than that, we have coins that the player can pick up for a score, and we have this little like help me escape me room. So this is where we can transition to another scene. All right, so to continue with this game, I think we do need to have something where the few we need to kind of increase the stakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement an inventory system. And this inventory system, right now we have the player where he's able to kind of pick up coins, right? And that's where he gets his score from. But I think I'm going to implement an inventory system that will kind of force the player to collect certain items before this box here will open, right? And keep in mind, right now, in our game, our player has no attack ability. Yeah. As a matter of fact, he's so weak, he just got killed in 2 hits. So I'm going to have to fix that. So I'm going to choose, I'm going to select the enemy right quick. And I think I'm going to actually lower his damage to about 1 at the moment. And also for the spikes, rotating blades. These rotating blades, I think I'm going to leave them. Why did I do that? These rotating blades, I think I'm going to leave the damage level on these fairly high. Maybe I will still leave them at around 3. Yeah, damage 3. For the spikes, I think I can lower the damage. Oh, alright. I'll lower the damage to 1 and be a little bit more forgiving with these guys. Alright, there we go. So, let's see. Inventory system. Alright, so to create an inventory system, first, I know I'm going to have to exit this to save. Right. So to create an inventory system, we are going to have to create another UI, or not create another UI, but we're going to have to add elements to this UI. And so I think I do want the inventory to kind of display like all the time. So to create the UI, I'm just going to go here and I'm going to create image. And this will be the background image. So this will be inventory BKG, right? And sorry, that's my mother-in-law washing dishes right now. Give me a second. So that'll be my inventory BKG, and I'll go ahead and bring it up here. All right, and that square will be right in the middle of this. All right, so I'm going to lower the opacity of this one. And then I'm going to probably make it a little bit longer, I think, so we can actually see it over here. So I'm going to make it a little bit longer right here. Yeah, right about like maybe this size. And then I'm also going to go ahead and click this and maybe center it down, like move it down here by hitting, hitting option. I haven't changed the pivot point yet. So let me move this here and move it up a little bit. Alright, yeah, so I think we're going to put our inventory right around here. And maybe scale this down a little bit on the y-axis. Alright, that looks kind of decent. And I don't want everything being black, so I'm going to change the color of this as well. So I'll change it to something a little bit more, yeah. I don't know what to say. I'll change it to something like this for now, just for now, and maybe increase the opacity a little bit so that it is a little bit see-through, but we can tell that it has like some kind of color. And don't worry, we'll be switching a lot of these graphics out anyway later when we actually get to the graphics design part, which is like one of my one of my favorite parts. And yeah, that's a little bit big for the screen as well. So I'll go ahead and like move it, like kind of scale it down a little bit and everything. All right, so we'll leave this guy here, and we're not going to do anything with this inventory background at all. So this is just kind of, well, a background for the other objects that we're going to put on here. So I'm going to put an image, create another UI image. This one is going to be a box, so I'm going to shrink this guy down on the y-axis until, yeah. And also, I think I'm going to scale him down a little bit here as well. All right, and now this will be a container to hold our inventory image. All right, so something a little bit like this. And, don't worry if it's not pretty. That's what the other section is going to be for. All right, and so this will be like, for example, our slot. So we'll put maybe, what are we going to be collecting? I think we're going to be collecting like, I don't know, ID cards. Yeah. ID card slot. Yeah. So ID card slots, yeah. And let's see, for this ID card slot, I think we're just going to kind of leave this here. And also we're going to need to add another UI image because depending on the type of game, I might want someone to be able to actually drop items that they've picked up. So I'll create another UI image. We may use it, we may not, but this will be like maybe item drop 1. Right? And since this is showing up as this, I'm gonna create this here and I'm going to shrink it. I'm gonna change this to red. Yeah, like this, straight up, kind of maybe dark red. And then I'm going to shrink this down here. And this would probably like just be a simple X when we're done with it. And I'm just gonna put this over in the corner right here and scale it down even more. Right, so yeah, not the prettiest one. So like I said, we're gonna play around with all these later anyway. Right, so that'll be our like little button that we can kind of tap to drop an item if we need to. And maybe I'll change the transparency of this one. Make that a little bit more transparent as well. All right, so yeah, these are really the main items that we need. Hold on, mail just came in. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to do this like while you're working at the same time as well. But, but that's just the way it is. All right, so we've got, okay, so that's a TV in the background. So if you're hearing Japanese, that's what that is. All right. So now that we've got these on the screen, we need to actually do some coding. Yeah, so for the actual inventory, we're going to go to the player and we're going to create an inventory script because we need to basically put the inventory script on the item that's going to collect the inventory, if that makes any sense. So we're going to go to script and we're going to go to inventory and okay, so we're going to click this over here. All right, so I'm going to open this inventory script. Okay, hold on. It's taking a little bit of time. This happens on my M1 Mac. Okay, you. Okay, and I've got like that's for that other window is actually for my other game. All right, so for this inventory script, I'm going to need a few variables. So I'm going to need a variable. I'm going to need a public bool, and I'll make this an public bool, and I'll make this an array. All right, and then like is full. Right, and then we'll go with public game object, and then over here, and that'll be slots. All right. Okay, so like all right, and then like void start. For start, this script isn't really, we're not really going to put too much on the script actually. So all we're going to do is put like is full, and then we're going to, equal a new bool. And that's going to be slots. which is a script that we haven't really, which will help to kind of this is the game object, but we are going to put these game objects in the inspector, so you'll actually be able to see them. That length, okay, and then we'll these. All right, and now um, we will go back to our Unity engine or Unity screen. Okay, so now on the player, yeah, on the player script, we've got like, okay, we do have this inventory and we have slots, but we don't really know how many inventory items that we're going to have. Generally, for a game like this, I think I would probably have the player have to go around and maybe collect about 5 things. So I could put 5, but we'll just hold off on that because we can just kind of drag and drop everything in there anyway. Um, so let's see, what else do I need? I've got my slot, I've got my items. Checking my notes here. Um, ah, right. So for the item drop, actually, the item drop, I guess that could be, we're going to add a component and we're just going to turn that into a button. Yeah, I forgot about that. So we're going to turn this into a button. And then for this, it could just be like a color tint, but it's going to be like such a small button that we're probably not even going to need to do anything with it. So I'm just going to leave this guy here at the moment, and because we're going to need to create another script to kind of drag into this. All right. So now that we have our card slot and our item drop, we're going to need to go to our, what are we doing? Going to. So I've got slots. Where's my other? All right. Oh, so I'm gonna have to create a slot script. Yeah. So like I said, my notes are like really messed up. So this slot script is going to come on my ruin slot. So I'm gonna go up here or on my ID card slot. I normally have like players picking up ruins. That's why. So I'm gonna create a new script, and it's gonna be like slots. Right. So slots. I put slots, but I was actually gonna type in slot. But anyway, so let's open this. Oh, and for those of you who are wondering, this is a cup from Fool with Gambit, the game that I was just kind of playing earlier, before I kind of started the stream, or at the beginning of the stream, I should say. So I've got my slot script here, and I'm going to go ahead and type my variables, which are email check. Okay, save. All right. So this will be, we'll need a private private inventory. A private inventory, and we'll just call this one inventory. All right, and then we're going to need a public int, and that will be I, because we're going to create a for loop, which is basically just going to loop through to see if things have been to see if items that have counted have been picked up, basically. All right, so we're going to use a private start. Go and start here, and we're going to put inventory, man, I cannot spell, inventory, yeah, inventory equals game object, and that will be find game object, game object with tag. Sometimes I get confused with the find game object and find game objects. So find game object with tag, and this will be player, because that's kind of what we're going to, I guess, bump into. And it'll be like get component. That's the object that will be collecting these, I guess. Get component, and then we'll put inventory here, and then we'll go here, and then go here. All right, so like we've got inventory equals game object dot find game object with tag player get component inventory, and then we have our our closing, not quotation marks. Yeah, when you live in another country for so long and you speak the language like most of the day, you tend to forget you tend to forget English. All right. So now we're going to go down to the update function, and we're going to create an if statement. So if, and then we'll put transform uh, dot, and we're going to use child count because we're going to be actually counting the children that are in that counting the children of the array. Kind of checking to see what children are accounted for, I guess. All right, so and if everything is if all the children is are not there, so if every child that we're looking for is not accounted for, then we're going to set this for false, and that means that the player will still be able to pick up additional items. So is full, and we're going to use that I that we just put up here, and that will equal false. All right. So let's see. So are all of my children here? Nope. Okay. Well, parents need to stay home and wait for the other child to show up. Kind of. All right. So then we're going to go down a couple lines. All right. And we're going to create another function. This will be a public void, and this will be drop item. All right. And that will look like this. All right. So public void drop item. So this will allow us to drop other items. So right now, the item that I'm thinking of having the player pick up is like maybe he'll have to run around and collect key cards or something like that, right? But I might also want to add other inventory items like maybe health potions or something like that. So the player might, in this game, the player might have to make a decision. He's like, okay, well, I'm almost dead. Do I get this final key card or do I pick up the health potion to survive a little bit longer? And, because there's going to be some decision making, I might want to give the player the option of dropping one of the items in order to pick up, something that they actually need. So that's why we're creating this script, right? And so this will be a for each. So this will be a for each kind of loop thing. So this will be transform child in transform. Yeah. So I don't use this code much at all. I'm not a huge loops fan actually. So I because I'm lazy, I try to avoid them as much as possible. But but you can't do that in game in any kind of programming really. So game object will be, and then destroy. And so basically when we're dropping an item, we're basically going to be destroying the item. So destroy child dot game object. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm like, I don't need this potion. I want to get the key card, so let's just drop this potion. So it's actually going to destroy that and remove it from the screen. Or, actually, we could have it removed from the screen, or we could just like have him put it down. Haven't decided on that one yet. All right, so that's what this slots code is going to kind of look like. And let's see, what else did my note saying? Right, so we're going to go back into Unity, and we're going to drop this. Well, the slots code is already kind of on the ID card that we're going to be picking up. Email check very quickly. All right, so it's on the ID card that we're going to be picking up. And what else do we have? All right. All right, so yeah, we've got this. Now, for slots, we have like this script here. What else do I need? Yeah, I don't really need to do too much with this one at the moment. So, what I am going to do is I'm going to go to this item drop button, and I'm going to go ahead and drag this ID card slot. Actually, create new, and then drag this ID card slot into here, right? And then I'll go to function, and the reason why in code, remember, we made this a public void drop item. Well, because that's kind of what we're going to need to call. So we need to make sure that this particular function is accessible within the Unity editor. All right, so we've got ID card, and then we'll just go down here and we'll go to slots, and we will go to drop item, right? And this will allow us to like drop whatever items we've picked up. All right, so let's save this here. All right, and right now, even if we run this, you're not really going to see anything because, well, we haven't picked up any items yet. All right, so let's see, what else do I need to do? I've got my inventory, I've got my items. For inventory, what am I going to do for inventory? For inventory, I might go ahead and add a... I guess I should go ahead and create the inventory item first. That would make sense. So, level transitions. My notes. So when you're programming, you're going to be relying on a lot of notes anyway, unless you're like some super math genius or nerd. And you can and you have a very good memory. So don't be ashamed to rely on your notes. We all have to do it. So now I need to create an item for the player to pick up. All right, so I've got this. This is basic. This inventory is basically set up already. So what I need to do now is I need to create an item for the player to pick up. So I'm going to go down here and grab our handy dandy square sprite and just drag him in here. Not there. I'm going to click on this coin and go down here and drag him into the actual actual game area. Right. So I'm going to drag this square over here, and of course shrink them down because I made this graphic way too big in the beginning, and because it's going to look like a little save button. Kids call what is it, save buttons now, or what is it, the save icon. So I'm gonna come down here and make this guy, and this is going to be our, I guess, our ID card. Yeah, ID card 1, maybe. And let's see. With this, I think we're going to make it. We're gonna have to make this one a button. I'm gonna change the color of this though. So I'm gonna change this color to maybe green, something that we don't really have in the scene right now, so that the player knows what he's kind of going to need to bump into. All right, so I've got this button here, and this will actually, we're gonna make this one a button because this will actually be the clickable item that the player can kind of click on in order to use the item. Um, some items you want them to be useful for the player, as in they have some kind of effect. For an ID card, I don't think we're not really going to use the ID card for anything except for to open this door. So I guess what we'll do is we're still gonna add it. Maybe just add the button as an option. So let's see. I go here and I will go to add component, and I will just give it a button. So I can give the button. I mean, we may not necessarily have to use it, but I'll give it the button anyway. And let's see what else. I've got to add I've got the button. Oh, I'm going to need to add a pickup. So this will be the actual button that the player will click, and it will show up in here, right? In order to use an item, if it's necessary for this item to be useful, right? So I'm just going to kind of leave this here right now. And then I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate this ID card, and I'm going to name this, this duplicate is going to be ID card 1, and this is going to be pickup. Yeah, ID card 1 pickup. Pickup. Yeah, I'm still having trouble using this keyword. So this will be ID card 1 pickup, right? And this will not require a button, so I can go ahead and remove the remove component from this, because this is what the player is going to kind of bump into in order to pick this item up and put it in the inventory. So basically, we have this pickup. We've got 2 boxes here. So we've got this pickup, which is what the player is going to run into to pick up the item. However, that will not allow the player to use the item, which is why we need this one. So basically, when this other green box is sitting inside of this white box or inside of the container, then if it is a usable item, the player will be able to click on this button in the inventory, and that will allow him to use the health or whatever, right? So let's see, we'll go, right now we're on ID card pickup. so I'll need to create a collider. I'll need to give this one a collider, so I'll need to give it a maybe a box collider 2D, because this one will be interactable with the player, and I'm gonna have to set this to trigger. All right. And I'm also going to need to add a script to this. So I'll be adding a component, and I'll be adding a new script. And the new script I will be adding is going to be inventory pickup. Inventory pickup. Right. So that'll be our new script. And checking emails. Not only checking emails, but it looks like so I've got like my iPad over here, which is where I'm keeping my notes and stuff. But it's running out of battery, so I must plug him in. All right, there we go. We have juice again. All right, so then my inventory pickup, and we'll open this guy. Okay, let's see if it opened up in here. Nope. Where are you? Okay, it didn't kick in yet. So I noticed on my M1 Mac, it takes a little bit of time for these to open for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. So I've got my inventory pickup. All right, so let's see. For inventory pickup script, because it's going to be interactable with the player, I'm going to need to have a on trigger enter event. So I'll put that down there later, because the player is going to bump into this to pick it up. All right, so let's see. We're going to need a private inventory. All right, and we're going to need inventory. Damn it. Inventory, and then we're going to need a public game object, and this will be item button, right? Item button. All right, and that's why we added a button script to that other object, right? To the one that's actually going to sit inside of the inventory menu, because it's going to be a button that we're going to need to click on in order to use the effect of whatever this item is carrying, right? So the pickup item is just going to pick it up. So if you wanted an item that you pick up and immediately use, like maybe a weapon switch, then you don't necessarily need to have a menu item or a button to click in order to use that item. It'll just like pick up, and then the player automatically has it. But in this case, we want the player to be able to choose when to use this item. So that's where we're adding a separate button item, if that makes any sense. All right, so I'll actually put a note here. The actual the button in the inventory menu that actually allows the player to use the item or effect. That's what that is for. All right, so let's go to start, and we'll use the same script. So we'll be using inventory equals game object dot find object with tag, and that will be our favorite player. All right, and then we'll need a get component, and that will be inventory. All right, and we'll need to add these. I always forget what these things are called. Inventory, and I used to be an English teacher too, as a main job. So like inventory, not brackets. What are these things called? Parentheses. Yeah. All right. Like, hold on. I'll make a note for myself. These are called parentheses. These are called parentheses. Yeah. All right. So anyway, like, now we're gonna jump into the update function here, and we're going to use our favorite if statement. So if, and that will be other. We're going to not use update. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here, or getting behind myself, whichever one. Instead of using update, we're going to need to add a on trigger enter. So this will be void on trigger enter 2D. Huh. Okay, didn't like that one. Like probably because I've got like a extra. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it'll be private void on. Okay, there we go. On trigger enter 2D. And I always change this to other anyway. So other, all right, other. All right, and let's see. Now we're going to use kind of like what we normally use. We'll be using the if statement. So if other dot compare tag and that's going to be player so if other dot compare tag it's player, and then we're going to need another parenthesis right here. Yay, I finally got the name of the thing right. All right, and this is where things are going to get tricky. So we're going to need a for loop. So this will be for and I don't like loops, so int I equals 0. Then we're going to be if I is greater than inventory dot slots dot length. So this dot length basically will run through this entire like inventory or this entire array, and it's going to check to see if everything is like it's going to count through everything. And if there's anything, if there are any items or any numbers or any like hairs on your computer that you don't know where they came from left, then basically it's going to keep on going until there's nothing left. So I'll go to inventory slots length, and then I will increment this by 1. Okay, and let's see what else. So this is a for loop, so we're going to need that as well. And the reason I'm getting error here is because I just used a normal comma instead of a semicolon. All right. So for loops, keep that in mind because that was a big problem for me when I first started as well. All right. So for int equals blah 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 blah. All right. Next, we're going to use another if statement. So if, and this one will be if inventory is full. All right. So if inventory dot is full, and we're going to call this array I, and this will be equals false, right? And so if the inventory basically is not full, then we can put inventory dot is full, and we'll use the right, and this will equal true. So this is one of those things that I hate trying to explain. But if inventory is full, if inventory is full equals false, well, basically if the inventory is not full, then, but everything in the array has been kind of counted and there's nothing left, then we're going to actually set the inventory to is full, right, manually, kind of thing. All right, so, and this means that, an item can be added to that slot. In a way, yeah. So let me put a note about that here. So that will be item can be added to inventory. Can be added to the inventory, right? So now we're going to need to instantiate something. So what are we going to instantiate? We're going to instantiate that item button that we just created. So remember, I created 2 green boxes. So oh, that's my wife moving around in the background. Say hi.
Hi.
Yeah. All right. So like, remember we have these 2 green boxes. So we've got the actual pickup, and then we actually have the button, right? And so the button is what we're going to want to instantiate on this, so that it will be clickable for the player, if it's a clickable button or a clickable item that we can use. All right. So let's see, inventory is true. So we're going to do instantiate, what is it? Oh, yeah, item button, and then we're going to use this at, instantiate this at inventory dot slots, and that will be I, and then dot transform, okay, and then false. Alright, so what this code means is that we're going to instantiate an item button, but until now we've been instantiating stuff on the actual main screen, so on the main game screen. So usually when we use the instantiate, we're kind of instantiating it right here in the game scene. Well, we want this to instantiate at a specific spot in the game, in the actual menu UI. So we want it to instantiate with this within this white square, right? And remember, this is not part of the main game scene. This is actually kind of like an overlay. So this button will not be really interactable in this site, in this game scene. It's going to be on your UI. So that's why we're kind of specifying that we wanted to instantiate in inventory.slots.transform. So that will be whatever we specify as the inventory slot is where this is going to pop up, right? So we won't have to worry about it getting deleted or enemies running into it or like it catching fire in the game scene, kind of. All right, so let's go back to our code, and after this, after we instantiate it, we're going to go to destroy game object. So this destroy game object will kind of remove it from will remove it from the scene, I believe. Yeah, remove it from the scene. At least that's what I'm going to say for now until I'm sure. All right, and then we're going to finally type break, which is kind of going to break out of this for loop. So okay, so breaks out of a for loop. Right, and is there anything else that I need to put in here? No, I think that's about it. So let's save this and see if I got the code correct. My coffee's cold. So fortunately, I have a microwave right behind me because I'm just gonna stick this guy in here. Yeah. So say hi, everyone. All right. So while my coffee is like warming up, let's go back into the Unity editor. All right. So let's see. Now, if you'll notice, I haven't really done anything here. Actually, let's go back up to this ID card, and I'm going to change this to ID card 1 button, just so that we can kind of differentiate. Um, and if you'll notice, I have kind of attached a button script, but I haven't actually really done anything with this script. So it's just kind of sitting here chilling, like with absolutely nothing to do. So I can go ahead and like change the colors if I want to. So I might change the highlight color to something like silly like orange, right? But you know, other than that, there's not really so much for us to do with this guy. So I'm actually going to take this ID card button and I'm going to drag it into prefabs. Yay! All right, and that's it. So now when I go to the ID card pickup, we should see our script is here, and we need an item button. Well, the item button that we're going to be pressing will be this ID card button. So I'll just drag this over here, right? All right. So like now, so we have this button should show up in here in a little bit. I'll show you how we're going to rig that up later. But basically, like we're going to have this button in the main menu in the UI, and so like because we might have multiple menu items. This gives us the options to kind of switch between which menu items we want to use and which ones we don't, especially if we're dropping, like picking up and dropping stuff, right? So here, when this item is in this slot, if I want to drop it, I'll be able to press this red button and it'll drop this one, and I might be able to pick up another item right after that, and it'll still fill in the proper menu slot, if you know what I'm saying. That probably didn't make sense. So that's one reason why I'm creating these videos, so I can get better at explaining stuff. So you're just gonna have to like listen to me babble on until I get better at this. Sorry, guys. Okay, so yay, hot coffee is good, especially on a cold day. All right, so now let's see where we're at. We've got our menu background. We've got our ID card button. Actually, I'm gonna delete this one from the scene because we won't need it anymore here. I've got my ID card pickup, which will be the item or thing that our player will bump into. So let's go ahead and test that to see if if this actually disappears when the player bumps into it. No, it doesn't. And let's see, the reason why it is not disappearing is... Okay, so I've got my ID card pickup. Let's see. Player, if comparing the player. If other than compare tag player, then for okay, destroy game object. Oh, okay, yeah, like we haven't actually like set this up yet. That's why. Okay. So what we need to do up here is when we go into the inventory slot. So we've got one slot. This is fine. Item drop. For item drop, we've got ruined slot. Actually, like this is also a problem because we don't really have any like an inventory size. So basically, our player doesn't know. Our player doesn't know like he has an inventory. Like I got this script, but there's like nothing in here. So we're just gonna give him an element, like give him the size of 1 for now. And let's see, we've got. I'm actually getting kind of sleepy. Again. So, so we got slot size. Slot size will be 1, I believe. Yeah. And for slots, actually, I think I need to make this a... Yeah. ID card slot will go here, I believe. And let's see. ID card slot. Yeah. Drop item, that will be ID card slot drop item. Okay, there we go. So now I believe the player should be able to pick this up. But let me check my notes. So, where do you pick up? Inventory slot management. Slot is full. So I've got, yeah. All right, yeah, so now the player should be able to pick this up, I believe. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so he was able to pick this up. But so the player, at this point, the player does have the inventory item, but he can't use the inventory item because like nothing has popped up in here, and that's the problem. So like he's like, okay, I've got this inventory item, but I'm not able to use it because this is not an automatically used an item that he will automatically give him an effect or anything, right? So because we want him to have the option of being able to choose when to use this. And I noticed that my cursor is below this thing, so I'm gonna actually fix that shit. All right, so the way that I'm gonna fix that cursor being below the being below the menu, the inventory, is I'm just going to Actually, am I gonna do that? Am I gonna drag this up here? I think I'm gonna drag this up. Drag this up here above the UI, and let's see if that works. Nope, still below. Huh. Where's my sort order display? Yeah, I forgot that I created this on another canvas, so so I'm kind of having an issue of where I want to put this. Do I want to put it up here? Maybe 10? Okay, yeah. So I just needed to change the sort order, just to make sure. However, actually, I need to test this again because there can be a problem, like when you're dealing with UI elements. So I need to make sure that even though I changed the sort order and I kind of moved it around the screen, that it can still okay, that we're still getting our button clicks. Yeah, okay, good. Because remember, some items might block the raycast. So if you ever move something around in the UI, or if you ever change the order of something, just go ahead and test it out. Make sure that your raycast isn't being blocked by like another panel or another canvas above it. All right, so yeah, our player can pick up the item, but we still have a problem because, well, we've got the inventory background, we've got the ID card slot, um, but nothing is really spawning in our ID card slot. So we've got item drop. So now, what I need to do is when this card is picked up, it will go to. We haven't necessarily specified which card slot this will go into. So give me 1 second. So I've got my pickup. I'm gonna drop. Da 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 da. Ruin card slot will go here. That is correct. All right. I think I'm gonna need to create another script, but hold on. I've also got an email that I need to I need to use my computer very quickly. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop this stream, and I'm gonna reply to this email because it's kind of urgent, and then I'll be right back and we'll continue with this. But we're almost finished with the coding of what I kind of want to do for this game anyway. So, and then we'll get into the more fun stuff, which will be thinking of the story and the graphics design. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop this now and attend to some business stuff that I can't do on my iPad, and then I will be